Welcome, I'm Lloyd, and this is the Dressing Gown Diaries. We're going to do a little review of round one of the 2020 Six Nations. It all kicks off with maybe 5 teams believing they could win the whole thing. But after week one, already 3 have hit the buffers. The Grand Slam dream has gone. So it all kicked off lively in Wales. A new dawn with Wayne Pivac coming in, making immediate changes with Johnny McNichol, the Kiwi, in for a debut. And then Tompkins also coming off the bench for a debut. So what did Wales bring to the game? Well, actually, there was quite a significant change in the game plan. Firstly, Lee Halfpenny probably saw more of the ball in the first 5 minutes than he had in the whole time that Warren Gatland had been coach. Looked to release him, looked to have him as a playmaker. McNichol came in as a playmaker as well. They're really incisive, trying to put larger forwards out wide as well, rather than just smash up Warren ball. So it's quite interesting to see the change of plan. Tipperick, who's normally been the go-to in the line-out, wasn't used as that. He was positioned either at the back of the line-out or out in the field. So Wales were trying to play expansive. Ultimately, they scored some tries. George North at 13 looks solid. There are a lot of pluses. 21-0 at half-time. Probably took the foot off the gas a little bit in the second half, but still managed to score double that score to 42, and crucially zeroed Italy. Italy played pretty well. The score probably doesn't reflect how they played, but they looked a bit like Scotland in years gone by. They threatened at times, but then just fall apart. But let's just talk about some of these debuts, though. Tompkins, where on earth has this guy come from? I don't watch much Guinness Premiership, I have to admit. But Jesus, this guy came on. The first thing he did, he came on as a blood substitution. He feigned to go into the ball, then pulled back, then went into the next ruck, won a turnover, penalty, bang, holding on. Thank you very much. The next incision he had was a long 20-metre pass, accurate as anything to Lee Halfpenny, hitting at full pace, which allowed the space for Josh Adams to score. It was like this guy had 50 caps. England must be fuming at how they haven't picked him up. I don't know where he's been on the RFU radar, but seriously, if he's been playing for Saracens, how do you not know who this guy is? And he scored his try, great turn of pace, through a gap, brilliant bit of play. But the best part of his play, actually, I thought all day, it didn't count as a try because it got pulled back for a knock-on. But George North, he released George North, breaks down the right-hand side, realises that the space outside him, straightens up, hits the inside shoulder of the defender, commits him, passes. It's a basic skill, but not many players in the Northern Hemisphere have it. I don't understand why, because it's an absolute essential element. You see the way New Zealand and Australia play, they fix players, move it to the guy that hasn't got the ball. It's pretty straightforward. Second game of the weekend, classic Scotland. What on earth are you doing, Stuart Hogg? When you're over the line, just fall over. And then his little comedy trying to convince the referee and everyone in the ground that he'd actually scored. Pretty obvious you dropped it, mate. And there you are going, yeah, knowing you've dropped it. You dickhead. Scotland, again, getting into good positions, looking like they might do stuff, but ultimately coming up short, knocking on at times when they shouldn't have done, giving away silly penalties, conceding turnovers. It's just sort of classic Scotland. They haven't won in Dublin for 10 years and really don't look like doing it. But however, I'm sure they'll be fired up for this coming weekend. But we'll chat more about the weekend's game later on during this week. The big game of the weekend, though, was France. A rejuvenated France. Now, for Eddie Jones, what on earth are you doing saying to the French, oh, we're going to destroy them. We're going to show them we're the best team in the world. We are going to bring brutality. Sean Edwards will have just pinned that on the wall and said, oi, guys, look what this clown thinks of you. Thinks you're nothing. So what did they do? Of course, they came out firing. First 20 minutes, England looked quite good for 3 or 4 minutes early on, but then they just got battered. Sean Edwards' defensive pattern came to the fore. Smash, smash, smash. The stats over the weekend, England, an average gain on carry was 0.91 metres. It's the second lowest that they've hit in something like 10 years. The lowest was the World Cup final. Oh yeah, we haven't done a dressing gown diary since then, but unlucky England. Everyone in the world wanted to see you lose. But, I mean, I was one of the few Northern Hemisphere people that perhaps was quite keen to see England win. When I say keen, I did want them to win, but I'm not that upset they didn't, because I don't hear for years going on, oh, you're Welsh, you're really good at the Six Nations, but you can't cut it when it comes to it. Well, that looks like England now. Great performance against New Zealand, but this French performance was another example. Why aren't you picking a number 8? What are you doing, Eddie Jones? And Farrell is not a captain. England have now created a real problem. He is an epic player, but there's no one that can change the dynamics. It's like if the game plan doesn't work, they have to wait till half-time to be told what to do. What are you thinking? Can't you see that the kicking plan isn't working? Ben Youngs was not playing particularly well. The atmosphere was crazy in the Stade de France. Surely the captain, Farrell, whoever it may be at the time, goes, right, forwards, we just need to change momentum here. Get the ball up the jumper, few tight phases. We might win a couple of cheap penalties. Don't really care if we don't go anywhere, but we've got to change the atmosphere. We've got to change the momentum. You never know what might happen, but no one seems to be able to do that. They have to wait until they get into the hut at half time. Eddie, shit, what do we do? All went wrong. If it wasn't for a couple of 2 bits of individual brilliance from Johnny May, I mean, the second try was world class. He showed wheels. France will be disappointed they didn't close him down because he managed to get round the outside, but great gas. And the first try as well, the second kick through, brilliant to control that and then make it. So Johnny May was the upside, but there are cheap penalties from England again. There's a lot of sloppy play. This looked like, there are too many of examples of the way England play like this. In the final, the World Cup final, how they played against Scotland last year at home, losing a 31-0 lead to only ever draw the game, how they lost to Wales. If the momentum goes against them, there doesn't seem any foresight. The same thing happened in the season before, actually, the way Scotland and France counter-rucked, and Italy the time before where they didn't commit to the ruck and maul. England seemed devoid of how to decide what to do on the pitch unless they're told what to do at half-time. Maybe they are overcoached. Maybe they are just lack that sort of mental side that they can work through these problems. But look, it was a great first weekend. I'm going to come back to you with a preview later on this week. But for now, this is the Dressing Gown Diary, over and out.